Did you know that all the energy we use comes from a star like the sun? I, for example, am riding a bike right now, and the energy I'm using here to move is indeed coming from the sun. Don't you believe it? Watch this video until the end. Today I am here in Juazeiro, in Bahia, at the Futura Solar Complex, which is managed by Eneva. It is one of the largest solar energy parks in Latin America. It has more than 1,400,000 solar panels that are distributed over more than 1,600 hectares, equivalent to 1,600 football fields. At its peak, the complex can generate 837 megawatts, which is enough to power roughly 1,700,000 homes. I guess I don't even need to say that this is one of the places with the highest solar irradiation in the places where the sun shines the most in Brazil, right? And we came here to understand how it is possible for the sun and other stars to be the sources of energy for everything we use in our lives. This isn't clickbait wordplay. The statement is true, but how? Here is the example of the bicycle. It's moving because I'm moving my legs, which are moving because I'm contracting my muscles. But where does the energy of my muscles come from? All the energy in our body comes from the food we eat and the air we breathe. Now, for example, I'm eating this egg, which has a lot of fat, a little bit of carbohydrate. These molecules will be broken down inside my body along with the oxygen I breathe to produce my energy. But where did the energy in the food come from? The egg came from the chicken that got energy by eating other foods, which could be corn, like this one here. The energy of the corn kernels was produced by the corn plant that got this energy by doing photosynthesis, that is, using the energy from the sun. The energy that moved the bicycle came from the sun. Does this also happen with other types of energy? Like the energy that comes to the outlet in our house? Yes, it does. Look, most of the electrical energy we use in Brazil is generated by hydroelectric plants, which use the movement of water to generate energy. So, let's think about the water cycle. I mean, let's not just think, I'm gonna draw the water cycle for you here. Look how cool. The water will evaporate from the oceans, lakes, forests, and will form clouds in the sky. These clouds will rain somewhere, the water falls and feeds the rivers. The rivers will fill the dams, and the dams will release the water that will fall, moving the turbines that generate electricity. All of this forms a cycle, and to generate energy, the water needs to go down. The water needs to fall, but for it to fall, it needs to rise first. Who makes this water rise? Well, it's the sun that makes the water evaporate, and it rises. But what about coal energy? Coal energy comes from the burning of trees that grew using the sun's energy. When I say coal, it's both vegetable and mineral, because the vegetable is burned trees and the mineral is fossilized trees. And wind energy, the wind power. Winds occur because there are some places on planet Earth that are hotter than others. In these hotter places, the air rises. When it rises, the colder air will occupy that place, and this whole movement is what causes the winds. Now, guess why there are hotter places because of the sun? Energy from oil, formed by Earth's internal heat, and nuclear energy from breaking atoms are not related to the sun. Almost. Oil was formed by organisms that lived millions of years ago and used the sun's energy to live. But you're right, to form oil, we also need the heat that's inside the planet Earth. That's the point. This heat comes from another star that existed before the sun that exploded, providing its energy to a dust cloud that formed the solar system and the Earth nice and warm inside. As a bonus, it formed atoms used in nuclear power plants. It's inescapable. All energy came from a sun-like star. Is there no way to access this energy more directly without going through all these transformations, like plugging a cable directly into the sun? There's actually a better way than that, using a wireless connection, like Wi-Fi. The sunlight is this energy that's reaching the Earth, and these panels here are the antennas that capture this energy. But how does this antenna work? How does this panel manage to transform light into electricity? Speaking in a very simple way, electrical energy is electrons running through a material that conducts electricity like most metals. But these panels here are not made of a conductive material. They are made of silicon, which is a semiconductor. This means that it conducts electricity in a different way. For the electrons to be able to move in this material, we will need to mix in some other elements, like aluminum, phosphorus, but even so, before the electrons run, they will need to be released from the silicon. The sun's light, which when it hits the plate, transfers energy to the electrons that are released from the silicon and run, forming the electric current, is going to do this job of releasing the electrons. Here at the Futura Solar Complex, they use these plates that are 1 meter 30 by 220, and they can capture light from both sides. At its peak, it can generate up to 590 watts, which would be enough to power about 4 or 5 42-inch LED TVs, or if you prefer 5910 watt LED bulbs. To make the most of the sun, these panels are connected to a motor that makes them tilt and follow the movement of the sun throughout the day. And the cool thing is that these motors are also solar powered, but they are connected to these smaller panels here. There you go, wireless energy captured directly from the sun using only an antenna. Connecting a solar panel directly to a circuit is possible, but impractical due to light variations from passing clouds and the sun setting. That's why solar power plants, like this one from Eniva, collect all this energy from the panels and pass it through stations, which will stabilize the electrical signal before sending it to our homes and working together with other power plants in the country that guarantee energy even when there is no sun. But here, the energy only goes through one transformation, from light to electricity. That's why solar energy is one of the cleanest of all, because it doesn't depend on burning anything, heating anything, or spinning anything. Look, at the beginning of the video, a lot of people must have thought it was clickbait, but now we know it's not. All the energy we use comes from the stars, yes. But sometimes this energy goes through several transformations, as is the case here with the bicycle. And of course, to do this in a way that really makes a big difference for the planet, we're going to need places like Eniva's Futura Solar Complex with cutting-edge technology, with more than 1 million solar panels to generate clean energy for millions of people.